Today guys, we are talking about the brand new Ping Blueprint S irons. An iron that could be for the everyday golfer, but an iron that is coming in at a very premium price. We know with Pings over the years, they haven't been the cheapest clubs. You look back at the i500s, a club that which was a little bit different for Ping, but certainly was at a premium price. And just like the driver this year, we know that the G430 10K Max is a little bit higher priced than TaylorMade Callaway, which is very surprising from Ping, because they're normally known as a more affordable, friendly brand. But this is a fantastic club, guys. This is something that we're going to be talking through today. Obviously, price is a big point, and we know that in the modern day of golf, price is a big talking point. And has performance improved? That's the big thing we want to know. I'm using a 4-iron here on this long par 4, and the big technology difference here in these irons, we have got the patented forged pocket at the back of the long irons. And again, that's just for these clubs to be a little bit more forgiving. And this is a club that, yes, the previous blueprints that were certainly very thin, very small blade length, very hard to hit, were probably not in most golfers' bag. But this is obviously opening up a little bit more for mid-handicappers, low handicappers, and even higher handicappers with the different lofts. We can get retro lofts, we can get stronger lofts, which is a thing that Ping have been doing for a while now. But we're going to compare these irons to a more affordable brand, a brand that is a direct-to-consumer brand, but has a cavity back iron. Are you going to get the same kind of performance? Are you going to get the same kind of results? What is your budget on irons? Comment below, guys. How much would you spend on a brand new set of irons? Would you want the latest and greatest, or have you gone maybe second hand or last year's model? Comment below, guys. How much do you spend on average on your irons? As we know, golf doesn't seem to be getting much cheaper. Okay guys, so let's hit this off the tee. Again, obviously these Blueprint S's are designed to be a combo set, either with obviously the Blueprint tees, the muscle backs, or even with the i230s. But how does the 4-iron with the forgiveness feel? So interesting there. A nice penetrating ball flight. Again, up the middle, a little bit off-centered there. Didn't feel as solid with the off-centered hit, but has still performed well. But let's put it against the clubs that are costing around about $1,000 cheaper. And guys, those irons are the Takomo 301 CB. So like we know, you'll have seen them a lot on the channel because they are affordable. And what we're trying to do on the Everyday Golfer is find you clubs that do perform for a reasonable price. If your price budget is a little bit more, obviously, well, quite a bit more here, then you could go for those and we can put them to the test. Obviously behind the golf ball, this is a CB, this is a cavity back, similar looking. Again, blade length wise, pretty similar. Top line, again, not looking much difference. We know obviously with these prototype irons we have got a copper finish, but let's see flight and feel. And interesting there, guys, again, feel exactly the same. That was a little bit off-centered. Looks to have maybe gone a little bit further, so it might have been a little bit better of a strike, but flight exactly the same. So we know we've got premium components, just like we have in the Pings, but the Pings certainly do have that little bit more shelf appeal potentially. They have put a little bit more into that forged feel. But guys, comment below, what is your price budget? What are you spending on a set of irons? Let's jump in the studio now. Let's have a quick look at what the numbers are saying, because we know we need to talk a little bit about the different loft options on those new Pings. So let's put these two to the test here in the studio now. Again, like we say, obviously looks slightly different. We know these are the Takomo 301 CB prototypes. But now we need to talk about lofts. So like we mentioned with lofts outside, it's one of those things at the moment, it's trying to get the correct loft that fits your gap in. So we know with Ping that they are providing retro lofts and power lofts. If you need stronger lofts, if you want this design but you want them to go a little bit further, you want to basically optimize your distance, then you maybe go for the stronger lofts. Obviously, we've also got the option for the retro lofts, and it's very interesting here that we've got a 6-iron that can come in a retro loft, we can get one that comes in a power loft, and it's still different to the 6-iron of the Takomo. So obviously distance-wise here, we're going to see a little bit of difference, especially if you strike it like that. Again, a misstrike there, exactly what you're expecting to see from a misstrike. So we know with these kind of irons, they are probably aimed towards the lower single-figure golfer, but even if you do make a bad swing, you're certainly going to see a big drop-off in distance. Again, so 6-iron outside should be around 180. Left that one a little bit open. Let's see what that carry is. And there we go, 175 going 185. So exactly what I'd expect to see out on the golf course from this 6-iron. Left that a little bit open. That's why it's gone a little bit out to the right. Again, looking down at these clubs straight behind the ball, they don't obviously look as hard to hit as their counterpart Blueprints, the blade version of these, which we also do have in the studio. If we have a quick look, again behind the ball we can see a much thinner top edge. Certainly looks a little bit more scary to hit. We will be testing these against the Takomo 301 MB irons in weeks to come, but still with a CB, I do feel like I get that forgiveness. That there wasn't the best strike, and it's still obviously got to the distance I'm expecting. But again, these are the power lofts. So have I gained a little bit more as a result? Let's see there, 154 going 170. So a missed strike again. So this is where obviously you've got to think when purchasing your clubs, are you getting enough forgiveness? For me there, poor strikes, not swinging it the best this morning and not getting as good as results as I did see out on the golf course. So it's certainly there catching me out with distance wise. Let's go over to the Takomo. So we can see the Takomo on screen is right in between those lofts. So let's put it to the test now. A good strike there. What distance have we got? The number I expect to see, 176 straight away. Running out a little bit longer there, a little bit lower ball flight to 191. So interesting there straight away. Even though this is a little bit weaker loft than the Blueprint S, we are starting to see that that was just a better strike, a lower ball flight. And after all, that's just, again, what impact factors have I put onto the shot. So let's go one more. Again, another nice strike, coming out pretty hot off these. 183 carry, going nearly 200 yards. So very interesting there that obviously a little bit better with the Takomo. Is that because I'm used to the Takomos now? I'm used to the look down behind the golf ball. Again, very similar looking. We know the finish is different, but the big talking point is price. Obviously, totally different price points here. Yes, you can go and get fitted for these clubs. Yes, maybe that's something that Takomo you can't, but obviously if you know what shaft you've got, exactly the same shaft in these. So the KBS Tour Shaft 120s, I've got that in both, but we're looking well over £1,000 here, and we're looking at around about £600 or £550 for the Takomos. So let's go a couple more with this. Bit of a better strike, again 170, going 185, the numbers that I would expect. Let's see again before we get out on the golf course. Better shot, just turned it over. Let's have a quick look there distance wise. 190 carry, going 200. So very interesting there. When we get the strikes, they are very similar as we expect. Loft slightly different. But let's get out of the cold here in the studio. Let's jump back out to Florida. Let's put these to the test on a par 3. Hit a couple of shots, see which is the closest, and see, is the price worth paying? So guys, interesting numbers there in the simulator back in the UK. We are now again back out here at Panther Lake at Orange County National Golf Club. I'm going to put them to the test here on the par 3. So we've talked a little bit there through, obviously we've got different lofts. Are Ping doing too much, maybe having retro lofts and strong lofts, or do you think that's a great idea? Because it obviously opens up these clubs, especially the Blueprint S irons, to probably a wider market. Yes, somebody with a faster swing speed who doesn't maybe need some more carry, or just like the gentleman we met here as a starter who just ordered these irons. So he wanted to get his hands on these irons. He was probably in his 60s. Hopefully I've not offended him there, but he did say that it was a mid-handicap golfer, but going for the Blueprint S's because he likes the look. He likes the player look behind the golf ball, and that's something certainly behind this golf ball. It does look nice and sleek. It looks very Ping with that white line at the bottom of the face. Again, but it's all down to performance here. We know that these are the stronger lofts. Let's see how it performs from 170 yards with this 6-iron. Again, interesting there. Let's see how that does Not the best strike there, and if Rob does zoom in with the super camera work, we can see that has gone pretty close, so that's just behind pin high, and I caught that a little bit heavy, so forgiveness straight away from there. I might have to give them a little bit of a clean after this, but forgiveness there, that was a little bit heavy, but I've still got the distance. But it's interesting when you go and get fitted, you need to know your distances, you need to know how far your clubs go, you need to know what wedges you have and what you're going to put in the top end of your bag, because if these are too strong, you might have a bigger gap at the top end of the bag. If they're too weak, your 3-iron or your 4-iron might be the same, obviously, as your hybrids, and up there you might get a little bit of a mix-up. But now, obviously, like we said, we are comparing these to the Takomo 301s. You'll see how I've got the copper versions here. Again, in the UK, I did have some limited prototype black irons, but a CB, exactly the same kind of thing. These are a little bit more forgiving than the muscle back, so compared to the MB irons, we have got a cavity back here, but price point, we're looking at nearly $1,000 cheaper. Is this going to perform any different? Again, behind the golf ball, we've still got that sleek look. Again, a different finish on here, but top edge very similar, blade length very similar. Let's see now, obviously, how it performs. It's all dependent on the swing we're putting on the golf club. And that is straight at it. Two good swings there. Let's see the distance with that one. And again, that's gone a little bit further than the Ping. A little bit lower ball flight, but consistency wise, yes, the same. We do have different lofts on there. You'd have to fit that in. So something certainly to think about. $1,000 difference or nearly £1,000 difference. Is that something to consider? Yes, a fantastic looking club from Ping there, and have opened up a market where you can get a cavity back, a nice forged looking club. Maybe for a higher handicapper, somebody like mid-handicap Dave might obviously want to go into something like that. If he got the stronger lofts, if he got the right shaft, maybe they could be perfect. We'd have to see how they perform. But a great option there from Ping, something certainly for you to consider. But do they compete a little bit better than these Takomos? It's all dependent on your budget, what you want to spend. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, please do consider hitting that subscribe button below, and I will see you tomorrow.